Well, given the fact that Max and David and Steve are not going to be joining us tonight, why don't we then call the order at 7:03 at least, now that we've got our
Okay, hold on a
names and
second.
everything like that.
Dave?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of the switching thing that you guys are doing. Oh, Cynthia, could you unmute now?
I did it.
Yeah, she's not muted.
Okay, all right, go
Well,
ahead.
I have a new computer too, so some of it could be operator error.
Okay, gotcha.
Just saying.
Okay, I'm good. You can go, Dave, sorry.
Okay, well then let's call the order at 7:03. We've got a couple people that are missing, so I think this is it. Who's going to be joining us for tonight? So hopefully everybody is healthy and doing well. I obviously you heard that I kind of lost a whole month to COVID, but I'm back at 94%. I won't say I'm full back, but it does take its toll, and thankfully everybody else in the family didn't have nearly the kind of symptoms. So I hope everybody else is staying safe and getting vaccines whenever they can.
Number 2 yesterday, so we're good.
Excellent. So, all right, then. All right, we'll go around the room, do roll call. Let's see. We have Eileen. We have Cynthia.
Everybody has to say where they're calling in from for some reason, but
Like their address?
no,
Or-
you just have to say the city you're calling in from.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, Eileen from Royal Oak.
All right.
Cynthia from Royal Oak.
All right, Mr. Mike.
Mike from Royal Oak.
All right, Willie.
Here.
You from Royal Oak? Yeah.
Where are you calling in from? Where are you calling in from? Southfield?
Southfield.
Okay.
Oh, from
I'm calling
Southfield.
in from Orchard Lake, Michigan.
Okay.
Got it.
Ooh.
Then Judy is in Royal Oak, and Jack, you can say. And Jack's with me here.
Yep.
We're both at
JW from Royal Oak. And Mr. Noah London.
I am here from Royal Oak.
All right then. And I believe that is it. And David London from Royal Oak then. Okay. And so yeah, Steve is on vacation. He won't be joining us. David is with Reserve Guard. I gotta go back and check. And it looks like Max is not able to join us tonight either. So, all right. If that's the case, did everybody get a chance to get the document for the agenda and take a look at that so we can approve that one? I didn't see anything on here that wasn't a problem, other than the subcommittee meeting was nixed for tonight.
I would motion to approve the agenda as written with the exception of the sponsorship committee meeting that we did not have.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay. If that's the case, all in favor, sound off. Eileen,
Approve?
Cynthia.
Yes?
All right. Mike,
Approve.
Willie,
Approve.
all right, Jack.
Yeah.
You said yes.
All right. Excellent.
And Judy, yes.
And Judy, yep, you're right there too. All right, well, that's the if that's the case, then agenda is approved, barring the striking of the subcommittee meeting that was at 6, which unfortunately I made Carol sit through, even though we were not in it. But Carol had also mentioned that we do not have anybody in the wings for public comment tonight, so I should have mentioned that one. We don't have anybody joining us, so we don't have to take any time for that one. But in terms of the minutes, did everybody get a chance to get the minutes from March 2nd? Pull that one up and take a look at those so that we can approve the minutes March 2nd, 2021. I didn't see anything on here that that jumped out at me. It seemed pretty much as it went down.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I'll
Is that
second.
Willie?
That was Mike.
Oh, there's Mike. Okay,
That was Mike.
sorry.
Judy, you
Uh,
want a second?
Can I get a second?
Judy,
did.
Oh, Judy seconded. All right. Okay, motion to approve the minutes from March 2nd. Let's go around the table. Eileen,
Approve?
Cynthia,
Approve?
Mike,
Approve.
Willie,
Approve.
Jack.
Approve.
Got it. Judy.
approve.
Okay, if that's the case, then minutes for March have been approved and we can move on. There we go. Thank you. All right. Obviously, Steve is not here. He can't give ex officio, but I can't imagine there's anything that he's talked about. He's already verified that the paperwork has been filed and has he followed up on a lot of the things that we talked about last meeting. So I will reach out to him to see if there's anything else after he gets back from vacation before our May meeting. And just a reminder too that once we get into May, it's we have meetings every Tuesday leading up to Memorial Day. So, all right, if that's the case, let me pull up chair report here. Okay, so if everybody got the document, you know what? I'm gonna share my screen. Here we go. All right, so thank you, Judy, for giving me that option. This helps. All right, so did everybody get a chance to get the chair report with the graphics in it that I sent around? If not, if you can see on the screen, if you're joining us by video, I'm showing off page 2 and 3 of the report. Mike and Willie, I hope you got the PDF of that one.
Yes, I do. I have it.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
So-
I've got it also. I've got it also.
Excellent. I wanted to talk about the so the design of the oops, I lost it.
Yeah, I don't know
I
what
want
happened.
to pause it. I want to do it again. Here we go. Come on. There we go. Are you seeing it again?
No,
No,
All right. Damn.
but we all have it.
All right. So what I wanted to talk through is the possible float designs. What I had done was taken the mock-up of the float that I had done all the measurements for, and the main areas on the side are two wide, strangely two-tiered sections, and I wanted to give two possible options. One, since we're talking about the rosies here, I mean they're called Rosie the Riveter for a reason. So I thought maybe one of the first things that we should throw out there is actually making the float look like the thing that they are known for, which is riveting, you know, B-17 flying fortresses and planes and tanks and stuff like that. The idea of actually having rivets on the side of this thing. I wanted to get your opinion about the possibility of making their float look like the very reason why we're celebrating them in the first place.
I love that.
Pardon?
I love it. I think it looks really cool.
Yep. So yeah, I went and got the classic World War II B-17 Flying Fortress style. They did come in a couple different colors, but the famous ones is that kind of OD green. They usually have the amount of bombs that they have dropped on there. Usually a little thing up front that's like hand drawn art. But yeah, and they all had the big side lettering to let everybody know. But you know, one, it's the Rosies, and two, it's Royal Oak. So I figured we can fake that that's what the RO is. This is for the sides only. I've got a couple more options on the next page too. But
David, what's the material that would be made of?
okay, so right now that's just a wooden side, and what we can do is either if they would allow it, I don't mind, like if they could lay down just that green paint, I would go in and affix graphics to the side before they made the trip. We can't decorate the crossbar or like hang things off it, because once it gets on I-75, things are going to fly off. But we do have the option of decorating the like paint beforehand. He did say he could put a coat of paint on it, but you know, not doing detail work. I would be happy to go down and actually do the detail work of these. It's pretty easy to just line up a chalk line, snap it, and then just, you know, paint in rivets. And both the RO and the star, the Air Force symbol on the side there, those things can be made out of either Luan ahead of time and then affixed once we get here, or they can be made out of like a self-adhesive vinyl. And but for the most part, the rivets or anything like that, and especially like the We Can Do It. I spent a fair amount of my time in the Army actually doing hand-drawn murals and painting on every single base that I've ever been at. So I would be happy to go down and actually paint this on the side of there, leaving the actual decoration of the other stuff for once we actually get it here. I will also talk to the parade company about the possibility of not only doing that, but if we need other additional sections painted. If we went with this, if we went with the B17 look, I would just have them do everything in that sort of flat OD green and then handle the rest of it with paint and stick-on graphics. But if we went with the other option, the rosy one, this is actually much more of a hand-painted thing. So it's to match the We Can Do It sign. I don't know if you can see my mouse. I keep wiggling it here, but to match the We Can Do It poster, the reason why we're celebrating them to begin with is that iconic red bandana with the polka dots, as well as that yellow background. What we don't want to do is these handrails. Somebody brought this up last time. The handrails, I mean, if the Rosies are sitting down, which, God, I hope they are. I don't want anybody standing up for this trip, but we don't want to decorate the handrails too much because they won't be able to see through them. So we've got this side here that we can do stuff with. But I wanted to give you the option too of if we want to make it specifically about the Rosies, this is the just the absolute iconic image for that one as well. And again, it would be if they lay down the yellow instead of the OD green, I can go back in and hand paint both the bandana part and the We Can Do It. This is actually fairly simple to do, and I'm pretty good at hand lettering. It's it's about 6 of one, half dozen another. Neither of these is going to be more work than the other. And then I want to go on to the next page because I did a mock-up to show you what.
Oh, it looks so good.
I
So,
love that one.
Yep. So we've got this big truss system that kind of goes across here. And if we did the B17 one, and then, I don't believe if we did 3 flags per side, I don't think we're going to be obscuring too many Rosies. This, guitar thing here is going to come right off the side. I don't want anything to obscure the Rosies because that's why they're there. I did find 48-inch buntings relatively cheap, like 17, 18 bucks. And 4 of those across fit perfectly on that truss width there. So we can using store-bought bunting, using standard 6-foot flags, and any sort of ribbons or any other thing like that. I mean, we can do a lot of this stuff early that morning and get a lot of boom for our buck without having to get there at 5 and try to decorate this thing as the sun comes up. I think if we go with something like this, we can do a lot of the painting work ahead of time, and then essentially zip tying flags on and buntings on that day. Now, what I don't have in this mock-up is I don't know. I'm assuming DPW would probably be the one to talk to about this one. We're going to need chairs for each of these, and probably some sort of sturdy chair for each of our Rosies. And as of today, I spoke to is it Jeanette or Janet? Jeanette, thank you. I screwed that up. I spoke to her today. She said they almost have too many Rosies. They said they have a full 12 that have already said. And as the word got out that there's a float and we're doing this, that even an East Side Rosie group caught wind of this, and even more Rosies are interested. So we may have a very full float. They wanted to make sure that, as a matter of fact, I spoke to Jeanette, and we're probably going back out to the Detroit Parade Company to actually take a look at this thing firsthand, because she was concerned about getting up and down. But as Judy pointed out, the Royal Oak Fire Department has the means to, they have skinny door accessible wheelchairs for getting people up and down from second and third floor places all the time. So getting them on the float is not going to be a problem. We are going to have to figure out something from possibly DPW to get chairs up there. Something sturdy, not like a little flimsy thing. I do not want a 93-year-old woman, falling out of a flimsy chair. But the other thing is, I think because we have the Rosie handlers as well, the younger Rosies who would join them on there. So if we have 12 Rosies, maybe 6 on each side, or maybe 2 up front and a couple on each side, and a couple of the handlers up there, it's going to be pretty full. But it is a pretty wide space. So I think that going down with the representative from the Rosies, we'll get a better handle on what the float itself is going to be like. But just off the top of your head, I mean, looking at these 2 options, the B-17 one of what they did when they were the Rosies, and the iconic poster, what's the feeling among the group? Is there a odds-on favorite? I see Cynthia with her hand up.
I like both. But my first choice is the B-17.
I like the B-17. This is Willie. Can you actually put that Rosie icon thing on there, though, the picture? Can you put the Rosie icon on there like they had the pinups on the B-17s?
It depends. I mean, I would probably go with a more stylized one. This one's actually it's got a lot of shading and everything, but I'm sure that there's a limited color. Like I know what you're talking about. So like on the obviously on the B-17s, the ones the nose art that they had,
Right.
it's if we found a something that looked like a flat painted artwork, we can get that printed on stick-on vinyl, just like the star and the RO, and plunk that right up there. What I didn't want to do is obviously a lot of the one, if we're going to do anything up front, I would want it to be that Rosie with the, as opposed to a lot of the other stuff, which is like pinup girls.
David, I use.
But I love that idea, Willie.
I use Rocket printing all the time, and they'll print onto corrugated plastic, which is weatherproof.
Yep.
You could just use like Velcro, something to stick to the side.
That is true. So what we could do those on the corrugated plastic. Get the both Rosie. Now I wonder if they would die cut her out. If not, I mean, I'm pretty handy with an X-Acto. I can cut those things out too. But I can talk to Rocket Printing about that, like what their max size is, and what the cost of that. But I've done that in the past too with double-sided self-adhesive Velcro for affixing that. So, but yeah, I like Willie's idea of if we can do that, if we can find art that looks like the nose art and make it Rosie up there instead of just the thank you Rosie. I think that would be a nice addition up front.
I like the idea of having some of those more detailed elements like printed onto something else so that we have them. So if we ever have to do this again, we keep them in our storage area and we just pull them out and we can use them year after year. We don't have to paint the whole thing every year.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I also had an idea about like customization for the option 2 float.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it'd be possible? I don't know like what the time frame could be for this, but I think it'd be kind of a cute thing to have like the Rosies put their own handprint, like maybe on like a separate sheet that would go on a float. Because I mean, the classic poster is her with her arm up. I figure, can work into it.
I don't know how we would do that without getting them all inky, but I like the idea of personalizing it to them. Maybe what we do is if we get their names ahead of time, maybe what we do is we inscribe them on the side, like since we're getting the Rosie printed, maybe we get each one of their names inscribed on the Rosie itself.
Hey, David, what do you think about, just as a side thing, getting all the ladies a customized mask for that day? One that does one that has like the Rosie, I don't know, or maybe just red with white polka dots or something.
That might be good. I like that. I
Yeah,
definitely the red with
like
the
a
poker.
souvenir for being in our parade.
So long as now if they've got the red bandana on there and the red mask and whatnot, so long as they don't look like ninjas. Yeah, Mike, what's your thought?
It was Cynthia. I think Cynthia had her hand. We had her whole hand. Yeah. No?
I like the idea.
Yeah, the one thing that I kept kind of coming back to, and either one would be fine for me. Obviously, as an Army guy who worked on Army aviation, I'm the B-17 one is near and dear to my heart. I kind of grew up around riveted sheet metal, so obviously this one appeals to me more. I just don't know if does it come across? I mean, obviously we're not going to have a picture of a jet. Like if you see this without any sort of artwork nearby, does it come across like that? Or should we maybe even think about, extending, rounding off the front so it looks like an airplane?
No, I think it's fine. Actually, I'm ready to make a motion that we approve option 1.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. So Judy and Cynthia, if that's the case, let's go around. Eileen. All right.
Hang on. Yeah, approve. Sorry. I was muted because the dog's talking.
That's fine. Jack, what's your thoughts?
I want to go with 2 instead of 1.
He likes number 2 instead of 1, he said.
Okay, that's a vote for number 2. All right, and Mr. Mike Sherman.
I go with putting option 1 also.
Okay, Willie.
Option 1, B-17.
Okay, if that's the case, then I think that is everybody except for 1 vote. Then that's the overwhelming majority there for option 1 then. But I do like the idea of including, Willie's idea of including the poster Rosie as the nose art on the front of this one. So I think that might be a way that we can sort of bridge the gap there. All right, if that's the case, then option 1 is passed. And what I can do is find out from the parade company just how much they're willing to do the prep work on that. And I will also reach out to the printing company to see how big these things are. Each of these graphics would probably be about 40 inches across. If they can do 4 feet across, we'll be good.
They can do, I just got something done. It was 48 by 30.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, that would be great. All right, then. And the other thing too is I do have a lead on these bunting. So that's something we can, I was going to be purchasing those anyway. But for the flags, finding 6 that match might be an issue. So whether we have to look at purchasing a set of inexpensive ones, or whether we find, like, I don't care if they match in terms of style. I just want them to match in size. I want them all to be the standard size flag. I don't want like one small one up front and one big one. So I don't know if anybody wants to take on finding 6 flags that we can use. And if they don't have them either at a
Do we
veteran
have the
group-
sizes? I'm sorry, do we have the sizes that you're looking for?
let me see. I think the standard size flag is a 6-footer, but let me see. Willie or Mike, do you guys know off the top of your head what the standard standard size flag is?
What's the float?
The what?
I can't remember if it's a 5-foot or a 6-foot. 3x5 is a little small for this.
Do you know what's the standard size flag is?
Probably a 6x4.
6x4 sounds more like it. I think a 3x5 is a little small. That's kind of like the front of a home.
I will take on investigating pricing for 6x4 flags or standard flags.
Got it. And again, I don't mind. I don't care if they're vinyl. If so long as they don't look like super cheap. But I know the
No.
vinyl ones are going to be more inexpensive than a cloth one. But again, it's they're not going to go to waste, obviously. So
What about 5x3?
the 5x3, if we hung them lower than like I have to pull up the measurements and whatnot. I don't want them brushing against the ground of the where people walk on here.
Okay,
Not
and
that
you want them above the rail, so we need to know rail.
Right. I'll get
rail.
the measurement for you. If you're going to look into that, I will put a note to get a measurement for you for.
I will take that on.
All right, I will actually do a 2-scale measurement of what a 3x5 and a 4x6 looks like. So
Okay.
get measurements for Cynthia on flag size. Got it. And I will call Rocket Printing. Okay, if that's the case, then the one thing too is if you want to go to the last page of the chair report, let me go here. So I had an idea in the past of for at least us to do our due diligence. We can't order people around. We can't tell them to spread out and everything like that, but we can make recommendations on the day of. And since Main Street is already broken up into very distinct areas based on storefront, the frontage of a whatever the business is, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a store, shop, pizza place, whatever. So one of the things that I thought we could do is at least have DPW give us the measurements for what each of the storefronts are, and then we can just use an equation to figure out what the recommended amount of people for that area would be. Obviously, we're not going to be the social distancing police. We're not going to be walking along and swatting people for being there, but at least we can do what we can to make it as safe as possible. So if we put one of these things up on each one of the storefronts where people would be congregating, say you've got I don't know, it's not Mr. B's anymore, it's whatever it is. Like if you have one of these things up in front of, say, Mr. B's, and it allows for 60 people in that area, whereas the bagel place might only be 24. I think it's probably the least we can do to look like we are trying our best to maintain social distancing, even as people are getting vaccinated and whatnot. It's still, it's coming up. I mean, it's not that far off. And we are in a huge surge. I think Michigan is number 1 in the entire 50 states right now in terms of COVID surge. I didn't do that, but I think if we did something like this, if we get those numbers from DPW, at least we can have a clear conscience that say, look, we attempted to let people know what a safe way to view the parade from the street level would be, and put it back on them to abide by it. I don't think that we're going to strong arm anybody. I wouldn't say that, we don't even have the auxiliary police, waggling fingers. I just think that it's something we can do to we have to do something, and I think this is probably the least we could do.
I like it, and plus it's just going to look really pretty too.
To have a Memorial Day parade once.
Make the whole sidewalk look really festive. So
Yeah,
I can probably get you plans of I'm sure community development has plans of the downtown sidewalks, and I can probably get those for you, scaled plans.
Okay, that's
I'll
good.
do that. I'll make myself a note.
Excellent. It's not something, I don't think we have to vote on this one, because this is really just it's not something we're spending money on. We're putting it at City Hall. But if we can do it, I think that again, it's I think we have to do our due diligence to at least attempt to do our part to make sure that people stay somewhat distant and somewhat safe. Because I mean, we've all seen those mornings when people are just packed in elbow to elbow. I don't think it'll be like that, but I also don't want to, get to the day after and be taking calls from the Detroit News going, "You're unsafe." I want to avoid that, but I also want to, let everybody know, like we're thinking about all the different angles here. So. So that was so Judy, I will I'll get more information from you on who we can talk to about getting that the frontage information. The other thing too is I already mentioned that the Rosies, we've got a dozen already that are thumbs up, as well as the possible more of them from the east side. So Jeanette and I are from the Rosie thing are going to go back down to the parade company. And again, the offer's open if anybody, when we set a date and time, the offer's open if anybody else wants to come in and actually lay eyes on it, but I'll take more photos once we're down there as well. The other thing is that the Rosie drill team will actually be marching alongside the float. And I think Judy said the only thing that they have requested is that they're not near music, because they actually do a call and response, and they're actually whether it's their, I don't know what they're doing, but it's if it's a drill team, then there's probably some call and response. So that's the only thing that they did request, is that that there's no music nearby. And of course they did. I believe we reached out to the women's group of Royal Oak to see if they actually wanted to dress up and participate as well. But the other thing too is I've already reached out to the Madison Heights Recruiting Center. Yet again, I do this every year, and every year they're a little slow in getting back, and they like to blow you off. But I am reaching out to see if we can get active duty folks to actually march in the parade as well. And apart from that, the one thing that I wanted to close with for this one is, in the past we've had we've had a couple different things happen. We had 1 year we had somebody who was on the corner protesting and shouting at veterans and calling them all sorts of horrible names. And we've had ones where people have kind of tried to sneak into the parade under kind of shady reasoning, and signing up as one thing and showing up as something else. And we had our people trying to pass off corporate marketing as corporate marketing for CBD or whatever it was, the marijuana thing. So I want to reiterate, moving into this one, especially with our 100th anniversary, I want to reiterate that, apart from being an apolitical and nonpartisan, but also a non-corporate, non-marketing, I don't want people using this event either for their company to profit off of, or to that somebody uses this as anything other than what it really is, which is to honor those people who died in service to the country. So we haven't had anybody sign up who looked like they were a little shady, like the dentist thing. I've never quite understood why they did that. And people have asked every single year if they could set up massage chairs or along the side and offer free services. And I just really want to reiterate that obviously we're here for the sole purpose of honoring veterans and memorializing those people who gave their lives. And I think we've done a pretty good job so far of sort of maintaining that integrity moving forward. I think that I think everybody's on the same page when it comes to that. We had the RO4AR, whatever the folks that tried to use it as a political action committee last year. So basically deputizing everybody to kind of be on the lookout to make sure that anybody who's participating, anybody who's involved, that we're all on the same page, that this is obviously, it goes back to the very first day that we had our very first meeting with the new committee, which is, we said, look, if we're here to complain about this, this day specifically is not about us. This is about the day where we memorialize those who gave their lives. So I wanted to bring that back. And again, I haven't noticed anybody. I haven't noticed any organizations that are kind of doing that. But, again, I think was it 3 years ago or something like that with the protesters at the side of the Ellison's kid. That one didn't pop up until a week or so before anyway. So just everybody keep your ears open for any sort of disruption. We want to make sure that this is that it goes smoothly, that it's also, you know, as respectful as possible, especially given the fact that we've got World War II veterans, we've got Rosies, you know, we're going to have Tuskegee fly over. So we're actually going to have quite a bit of attention this year. And I just want to make sure that we're putting the Royal Oak's best foot forward. But I think everybody's done a fantastic job of that so far. And Cynthia, do you have something to say? Oh, sorry. I thought I saw your hand go up. So, so that's all I had to say on that one. I wanted to kind of bring it back to why we're all here, which is, you know, we honor veterans and we memorialize those who gave their lives. And, you know, the whole point we're here is put on the best damn parade and ceremony as possible. But that was all I had for my chair report. And we can go back to our agenda then. Let's see. So for unfinished business, we had the sponsorship subcommittee, which we are fully funded. Given the fact that we've got 2 years worth of budget right now, we didn't have to worry about the subcommittee right now. But Cynthia had brought up the great idea of the flag thing in past meetings. So I think that what we'll do is once we get through this Memorial Day, that we get back to, oh, she's got the paperwork, I see her.
I do. do.
So once we get back through the Memorial Day this year, I think that we can go, you know, whole hog toward this the flag idea and kind of get as much buy-in and generate as much hype as possible for that one, because I think it's a great idea. We have to obviously work out a lot of the details, but so are you on board with basically saying once the Memorial Day parade is done, then we pick back up with our subcommittee specifically for this flag thing moving forward and for yep. Was that your thoughts too?
Cynthia?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that time is precious right now. We got to get this parade the best we can do, given the circumstances. I think that, you know, maybe we have to, I'd like to hit the floor running with this no later than like maybe even July.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
sort of thing
and
that the more
'cause
time
we got
we've got
November.
up front.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah,
Because
I
it
don't
is
think.
gorgeous. Look at that.
Yep.
This
I
is
like that.
it. And I have the donation form. I have the letter of thank you that they sent, which is good. Some of the flags, if you don't want them returned, it's $5 more to have those to mail the flag to you. And those flags can be reused in years to come. It's 1,000 flags. And I've even kind of looked at some of the parks in the area if we don't want to use the downtown area. I mean, there's the one by over on 13 in Woodward.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a nice, they have to be guarded that weekend.
Mhm.
But I have all the information and I will scan it and send it to the group, but we don't need to address this till after the parade.
Okay, I think you're right on that. I think it's a great idea, and I can't wait to pick that one back up.
Sorry.
The
I have a couple things about the parade. First of all,
Yes.
anybody that's going to need a check, the Tuskegee Airmen, I don't think the 338th is requesting money, but we might want to make a donation. All those check requests, they have to get in right away because the city is like notoriously slow at cutting checks. They only do it twice a month.
Yep.
So if you don't ask for it right away, they might not get it for a while. So anybody that needs to pay somebody, also porta potties. We need to order.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We need to order 2 porta potties.
I will call Scotty's and get a quote, same as last time. Did we do 2 or 1 last time? I can't remember.
I believe we did 2.
Okay. I will call Scotty's and they've got our past stuff on file.
And because another thing, because the ceremony is going to be held on the steps of City Hall this year, there's no shade at all. So we one idea was maybe we should look into like a bigger tent with no sides so that there's some shade. And then I also think that we should have water at the end of the parade this year because there is going to be no shade this year. So those are some things that we should probably think about too. And
Now,
then
you had mentioned possibly reaching out to the Historical Society.
I did reach out to the Historical Society. There is no pancake breakfast this year, so I asked them if they would do a water station at the ceremony for everybody, you know, when they got done with the parade, give them a bottle of water so they could cool off.
Mhm.
And they said they were gonna meet this month and like get back to me.
Okay.
And then I do got the bus from the senior center and the use of 2 gators the day of the parade. And then I think the most important thing we need to do is figure out who's going to do Tim Tier's job, which is lining up the parade. I have no idea how that magic worked or happened. Does anybody know what he did?
Yes. Okay. So actually, I reached out to Tim, and this is where I want volunteers for this one. I reached out to Tim. He said he would be happy to jump on like a Zoom call that I could set up. I'll be on there, and if anybody else wants to join, it would basically be a Tim Tier brain dump from all the years that he had done the morning of lineup, and sort of his tips and tricks and everything like that. So he said probably something early next week, and I can set it up, and if anybody's flexible and wants to jump on that call, I'd be happy to circulate the information. I don't think that has to go through Carol, because it's not a full quorum sort of thing. Yes, I see that hand going up. What's that, Carol?
Well, Eileen had her hand up first, but
Well,
Oh,
no,
I
I
just
just
want
don't.
to point out that I put the check request deadline in the chat. I didn't know if anyone was looking at, but really
Let me pull that one up.
the last day to get check requests in would be May 11th, and that would mean they would mail them out on May 18th. But I would suggest, as you guys are getting your expenses, if you want to email them to me, and I'll just do them as I get them, so that there's no backup or anything. We don't know what could happen with personnel there, so we just want to make sure we get them in fast.
I think in the past, Tim just had all the checks available the morning of the parade, and we only gave you a check if you showed up.
Yeah, so
Even if
just
we're
to
at
make sure that we
any
get
show
them in our office by May 18th.
Okay.
Like I mean, it's okay if they start coming in earlier. I'll just put them on your desk, Judy, so that they're there and you know where they're at. But I'm just worried, like they had a personnel issue this week, and all the stuff we turned in didn't get issued. So it's going to be delayed an extra 3 weeks. So it didn't get, even though we met the deadline, they had a personnel issue. That's why I'd rather see us, as you get them, turn them in, and I'll just keep track of them and put them on Judy's desk here.
Okay. And I called the Tuskegee folks, and basically I've left 2 messages now saying, I want to give you money, call me back, and haven't heard from him yet. So maybe there's a vacation thing there. So I will find out the final check issue with them as well. And I do believe that even though the Rosies are they don't have a fee, I would like to set aside some money to sort of like we do with the band. The band plays and they don't have a fee, but we give them X amount for and what do they call it, honorarium or donation or something like that. So I don't know how much we should what do you think is a good price to put aside for that? But they're very enthusiastic, and I love that they're coming out for this, but I also want to make some sort of donation to them for their time. Yes, Eileen.
Okay, a couple things. Don't let me forget to come back to the tents with DPW. But
yes, I'm going to put a note by the tents.
okay. I guess so. Since we're talking about the dates, we're going to meet one more time before the first Tuesday of May. We would meet. Then everything we want to pay, we need to make motions at that time so that they get voted on, or we make a motion today. So I'm saying, like we were talking about flags, Cynthia's going to go look at flags. So make a motion to pay for the flag. So we just have to, okay.
Do we, if we, So the question is for the parliamentarian here, do we do an open-ended, vote for whatever the flags are going to cost? That's how much we're going to do. What it would cost for printing, or do we, we're cutting it close if we get quotes on, rocket printing, and we get the quotes for flags and stuff like that, and then we meet again, in May, that is cutting it a little close. So what are your thoughts on essentially just either setting aside a fixed amount and voting on that, or voting to assign a certain person to handle it?
Well, I think we have to vote if we're going to spend a certain amount of money. So you can say motion to spend $300 on flags and rocket printing, and then if it exceeds that at the next meeting, we would vote to do the difference. But I mean, I'm just speaking a number, but I don't think you should start making a donation to the Rosies until you know where you're expending. I guess that's what I'm saying.
That's a good point. All right, if that's the case, then the things we've talked about so far are going to be the rocket printing cost, 6 flags cost, and
Not gonna
and porta potties, yeah. So and I think the porta potties it's like 200 or something like that. So
A little money on the float.
and we still have to do our remaining balance for the float then.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have the old Scotty's pies. Do I still have that?
I think the only group that's in the parade this year that's requesting money is the drum messengers, and I think it's like $100 or something. But the Harmony Acres horses, they haven't submitted anything. The 2 marching bands, we usually give them something. Neither one of them can be in it, so we don't have like a lot of expenses this year.
Mhm.
I mean, we have big expenses like on floats and flyovers.
Well, that's
What about Camp Casey? I think we've given them 200 in the past.
We've given them a donation in the past. They're free, but we could give them a donation. But I like where Eileen's going, like, let's.
Yeah, basically lock down our stuff. I just pulled it up. Scotty's potties last time was 125. So we can, I don't know if we want to vote on these individually.
Is that for one, Dave, or is that sounds like the price of one, not 2?
Right.
I think the last time we had that was in 2019. I swear we just had one.
I think, yeah. So because it's going to be by City Hall, I guess I thought we would do it there, because I don't know if the farmer's market's going to be open. I guess it might be open.
I think that we can open, City Hall's pretty buttoned down, so we can have the restrooms available at City Hall.
Now, in the past, they've gone right at the gas station there on Lincoln and Main.
Right.
So if that's the case, do you believe that we need more than one at Lincoln and Main, or?
No.
No.
Okay, so we at least need one there. If we can open up at least that for entry area with the bathrooms and the front hall of City Hall, that'll at least handle the end of the parade. But I think if we get one for Lincoln and Main, we'll be good there. But yes, Carol.
Would you like me to share my screen? I have a 2019-2018 comparison of check requests that I sent in.
Oh,
That'd
yes,
be
thank
helpful
you.
to you guys right now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so Camp Casey, we did 200. Oh, there's a dog. Comfort Care Transport, we don't have a, let's see.
Carol, can you make a 3rd column for 2020?
Joe's Army Navy.
For 2021, you mean?
For 2021, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, for 2021.
For 2020.
Because Harmony Acres isn't in it.
Yeah, Harmony Acres is, that we did give them $600. I don't remember giving them $600.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Yeah.
Okay, so Scott, so we'll start putting, so the drum messengers, where are they?
I don't know that we had them in 2019, did we?
I don't think we did.
Okay,
I think it was more than $100, and we thought that was too much money. So I think you might want to check their request.
Because last time we had them, wasn't it just like two guys?
It was one or two guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of you guys.
Do you, I'm not
I
looking
mean,
at,
messengers, it would imply plural, but I would hope that that's not the literal plural. But
I'm trying to find, well, this is just gonna, it's not gonna give me the amount that we paid them though, right?
Well, our transportation this year is free. It's going to be done by the senior
Mhm.
center.
I'm going to assume that the printing, I'm going to assume that the rocket printing for those things for both sides of that, especially if we add the Rosie to the front, is probably going to clock in around 200 for printing, but I can get a quote on that one. So if we want to allot 200 for printing,
Okay. But she's putting in Tuskegee Airmen right now. And then
Yep.
we had the printing for the float and then the balance on the float. Carol, is the balance on the float 500 or 700? I can't remember.
I think you said 7.
Wait, you're changing stuff, Carol. I don't know if you want to change this. You didn't save.
I'm adding in our new ones and putting zeros in the columns, like
But do you need
Victoria
the-
Banks.
You need the spreadsheet? I mean, you didn't save as.
What?
You didn't save as, so I didn't know if you were changing something that you normally keep.
No, she's just adding on to something. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, I have a page for each.
Oh, thank you. Okay, good. That's what I was
And
asking.
so I'll have a
the
page for
bottom,
2021, and then I do this year-to-year comparison. So we're gonna add in a Rosie's Honorarium, Tuskegee Airmen. We had signs by tomorrow, but now
That's
you're gonna
printing. I was
use.
printing.
What-
Yeah, we
What's the
can-
vendor now, Judy?
That was for a grand marshal sign that signs by tomorrow. And I don't even know, do
Right.
we still have?
Rocket Print.
grand
Yeah,
marshal?
I have 2 and Dave has the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rocket
I need to
Printing.
get mine to Dave's house so that we're all in the same spot. They're right there in my living room.
Is there anyone else I should add in?
Yeah,
Yeah, flags.
number 10 is the drum messengers. They're $100
Yes.
for 2 guys.
Oh, okay, good. All right, yeah. It's like literally 2. So,
Yeah,
We
I don't know. I'd say just have it because we don't have much music this year.
Okay.
Something to make some noise. Yeah, rocket printing, Tuskegee, Rosie, drum.
Oh, and the parade company.
We need
Oh,
flags
yeah,
added.
parade company. Yeah.
Yeah, and flags.
flags.
Okay, let me do this.
Mhm.
So we're gonna do,
Do we want to put a price on the flags? Because quite frankly, we'd use them again. I mean, I'd rather buy quality flags that look good, that are gonna, I don't want plastic flags.
What's it's been a while since I've actually purchased a flag. What's
They're
the
about
going?
$100 for the flags, $100 each for the standard flag that goes like on a flagpole that you would, I mean, maybe that's too big. That's the flag that you would fold into the triangle.
Yeah, that's
Right.
a big guy.
They're like I bought one last year and it was $100 for a cloth one.
Okay, the ones that you fly though, that are in your yard are more nylon than
Mhm.
the canvas flags that you would fold and save. The canvas flags that you fold and save, the stripes are, they're sewn differently. I'll get a variety of prices, but I don't think we want to go plastic. I think we need to go.
No, the vinyl ones I think are fine, so long as it's not like one of the there's a difference between a vinyl flag and a vinyl printed flag. And I think
I
we've all
kinda
seen
like
the
I
cheapy
kind of like
ones.
the nylon ones that,
And those
well,
range from anywhere from like 20 to $30 for like the 3x5s. But I will
Just right now, just looking a 5x8 flag, nylon US flag is $40.
yeah, but that's way too big for the thing. I mean, that's good for a flagpole, but that's
I'd
for the
still like
actual
I'd still like, if we're gonna
Mhm.
if we're gonna allot money,
Yeah.
I'd rather go $40 and come in cheaper.
Yeah.
40
Um,
times 6. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say like for flags, put $250.
Okay. I
right,
would agree
we
with
think
that.
this is 7.
And then bunting too, right?
The 4 bunting, I was going to buy those out of my own pocket because once we're done, I will keep those. But if it's something that we think we would use in the future, we can add that as a line item. But I didn't want to add that to our budget. If I'm gonna just, buy those, string them up and then take them back.
Okay, the Tuskegee Airmen, how much is that?
That is, let's see, for the one AT6 and the two PT17s, that looks like 1,400. And I don't know if they have any additional fees on there, but if we say 1,400 and we have to revise that later, but that's for the three that we said. We said we didn't want the little biplane, we didn't want the old looking one, and we didn't want the gliders. So the two Stearman and the one AT6, that's 600 and 800. So yeah,
I have it in my
1,400.
minutes. David, I have it in my minutes. It's 1,400.
1,400. There we go.
Yeah, so the middle school and the band right now, Carol, they can't play because they're not
Bummer.
allowed to
COVID.
Yep.
because of COVID.
So do we have Camp Casey?
Camp Casey's in, we just give them a donation.
Okay, so if you gave them a $200 donation before, you're gonna give them the same. That's probably what we should give the Rosies, or,
Yeah, that's probably
I
good.
think that's good.
I mean, at least it's a place of comparison.
And does the 338th band, will they accept a donation?
I don't think so. It's a military band.
Okay.
Never, as long as they've been in the Detroit Veterans Day Parade, as far as I know, they've never had any donations.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we have a
Okay,
lot
that's
of money. I mean, not a lot of money, but we do have some money left over. So
Mhm.
we might want to look into getting a tent for the ceremony.
I would say for under rocket printing, I would put 250 for that.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yep. Now, in terms of the tents, I know that it's not really a DPW thing. The one thing I want to, if I can get a hold of the recruiting office, I know that they have in the past set up pop-up tents for their little tables and the giveaways and everything like that. If I do get them on board to March, then maybe what they can do is actually have somebody set up tents there at the end for the ceremony. But I wouldn't bank on it. But I mean, they've got plenty.
Do
Yes,
you-
Eileen.
Okay, in our last meeting, we stated that DPW has tents, 10 by 10 tents. So somebody needs to, I don't know whether that would be Steve, but reach out to DPW and see
I
if,
think these are over and above because we want those 10 by 10s. And Steve said we had those things, but I think she's saying that it's going to be in the middle of a parking lot. It's going to be hot. That I think these are over and above the ones that we have for like our
I'm talking about big tent, like a 40-foot tent. Just so that it's cool. Like no sides on it, but just like a top so that people aren't dying. But I
Do you
don't know.
know anybody that has those?
Well, so
I mean, even companies or organizations
so
or
somebody said that Chuck Buttons from Button Rental, that he has donated them in the past.
truck
Like for
buttons.
free, for like a good for like a cause like this, like he might give it to us like at a really reduced price. So I'm just gonna look
Is
into
that a
it.
dude's
I don't have to
name?
do it, but I'll just tell you what the cost and we can decide.
cannot laugh at the man's name.
That is the most awesome name I've heard all day. Truck buttons. All right, so Judy, you and I we can keep looking into the big tents. I don't know that we have to set aside money for that one right now, but I think
But I think we can go today. We can approve these things.
These, yeah.
out here.
absolutely.
And then
And I-
Are you gonna have the Highlanders?
no,
No.
they haven't signed up. They haven't turned in an application yet.
Do you
Yep.
need signs by tomorrow, or will you just do it
Uh,
all at Rocket Printing?
Yeah, Signs by Tomorrow was just a one-time thing. They made a Grand
Okay.
Marshal sign and we have that. So
Magnetic, yep.
so we won't have that expense
I
anymore.
don't think Victoria Banks came back after 1 year.
She didn't.
And how much do you want to allocate for bunting?
Oh no, the bunting. I mean, unless we want to do other stuff besides the bunting, those. I was going to buy those out of my own pocket
Okay.
for me to keep afterwards. But if it's the sort of thing that we think we should hang on to, I think they run about $40 a piece or something like that. So, but if it's not something that we think we want to hang on to for future uses, then I was going to buy those out of my own pocket.
Okay, so I'm just gonna make a motion that we approve this budget right now.
Okay, the 3225.
We still have like, I think $4,000 left over, so.
I feel like there's some things we're forgetting though, and in this next month, we're gonna get those.
Yeah, we'll get them, but I mean, this right now just allows David to start working on that float and get what he needs.
And it allows you to start submitting, like I can submit these 2 honorariums because they're a fixed amount. I can submit the Tuskegee Airmen because that's a fixed amount.
Oh, here's a I don't know if we have to allot money for this one. For a grand marshal, in the past, do we do we
need to do a plaque.
A plaque, in like what do they call this? My wife writes them all the time. The
Proclamation.
Proclamation. Thank you very much. So I don't know if that's handled within the city or if that's something we go outside for. Judy, have you done those in the past?
Carol usually.
I've done them, and I just use the plaques that I have here for other things. So it really just comes out of our office supply.
We just like peel the old one off and put a new one on.
No, but I have a
he's-
supply of stuff when we used to do customer service awards, and we don't do that anymore.
Cliff has
so-
hung in for so long. Now the other thing too is we've got our speaker who's going to be coming in. I don't think we've done proclamations for the guest speaker before, but definitely for the grand marshal. Yes, Eileen.
What all the things that you're talking about doing to the float, do we need to allot some money for that? You know, the paint you're going to be using, the decals you're going to be making, like all that should probably have a budget.
If so the the individual paint things, I would, if it's just rivets that I'm going to be putting in though, like hand painting rivets along the side, and the rest is going to be rocket printing. I don't know that we need a budget more than $40-50 or something like that for paint.
Okay.
But yeah, if we want to put a line item there for, there you go, $100 for supplies.
Okay. All right. Let's add that.
Okay.
So that'll bring us up. Okay. We only have like Judy's only made a motion. I don't have a second. So right now we can just we don't need to amend it because for the second.
All right, so can I get a second on the budget of $3325 for the 2021 parade for at least the estimates that we know about now?
I'll second that.
All right.
Cynthia Garrett will second that budget.
Cynthia has second in. All right, let's go around the room. Then Eileen.
I approve.
All right, Willie.
Approve.
Mike.
Approve.
All right, and let's see, Jack, you there? And Judy.
Approve.
All right, and that's sadly no, you don't get a voice. But all right, if that's the case, then that's approved for $3325 for the estimated budget so far, and knowing that other stuff will pop up. And Carol, I'll work with you on the proclamation too for Cliff.
Okay. And if you want to send me the stuff on the things we know, like Camp Casey, the drums, Scotty's potties,
Yep.
Rosie and Tuskegee in particular, if you want to send me the contact information on that, I'll go ahead and send those requests in like this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, okay. I will. I'll give you my Tuskegee and my Rosie contacts. I don't have the. I think Judy's got the Camp Casey,
Awesome.
and I'll call the Scotty's potties and get the. And I can't imagine they've jacked up the prices, but I'll call them tomorrow.
Okay.
And then-
I will stop sharing so you can go back to your other stuff.
Thank you.
Where-
Eileen, I'll send that to you too, so you have it
Thank
for
you.
your minutes.
Yep, that'd be great.
Okay.
No, shoot, we just.
So the check request, May 11th, we talked about the buses for the senior center, the gators on the morning of. So yeah, if is there anybody that wants to jump on that call early next week? Eileen, yes?
Yeah, I'll jump on the call and I'll see if Tim can join me. My Tim, join.
Your Tim, and okay.
Great.
Yeah. And so Tim Tier did say that the auxiliary police are back in action for now. So I know we had talked about a couple duties that they may have apart from just blocking off streets and stuff. But they will be available for the parade. So if we can think of something other, I mean, obviously it's good to have them kind of policing the cross traffic, stopping things like that too. But if we want them doing anything else, we should think of that ahead of time. But if that's the case, if that's it for unfinished business, does anybody want to open it up for new business?
Not new business. I want to readdress the two-tier conference call.
Yes.
I'd like to be included on that.
Okay.
And if I don't join, Steve may join. I'm going to be traveling next week, but Steve may join, and Steve was helpful last year along with Tim. So
yep.
I may ask Steve to join that call because I think all hands every year would be good.
Got it. So we've got Eileen and Tim, we got Cynthia and Steve.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that wants to, if you're available, wants to jump on a Zoom call with Tim to kind of get a brain dump for his best practices for lining up and organizing on the day of?
I'll be
Yeah, I'd like, hello, this is Willie.
Willie, all right.
Yeah,
Mike,
do you need a copy of a parade protocol to show you how you're supposed to line up?
We've got the stuff in the past, but anything that you've got, we're open to.
I will send it. I'll send it to you. Parade protocol.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad that he mentioned that because I think that I would like to maybe make a motion that I show the lineup to John and he helps me organize it.
Oh.
Following protocol.
Yep.
So can I make a motion to do that? Because we don't need to do that in front of everybody tonight, but I'll get together with John and I'll show him the lineup and print it.
Okay, which John or Jack today?
Yeah, Willie.
Okay,
I'm Willie.
yeah, she should say Willie. That helps me.
Willie, we've gotten rid of all of our Johns.
Yeah.
We've got Jack and we got Willie.
And I have a second item under unfinished business. Did I hear somebody mention the speaker? Has anybody actually talked to Kate Melcher yet?
Absolutely, yeah. She's locked in. I've spoken to her, and we're good to go.
Okay, that's all. That's all I needed.
Yep. So yeah, Melcher is set. So in terms of we haven't really gone over. When we talked, I said normally we have some sort of a theme that we're trying to but since everybody is really we're all coming out of our caves after a year of the pandemic and whatnot, and she said don't worry about it, she knows exactly what to talk about, and she's on the same page. But that said, I will be reaching out to her to make sure that if there's anything else she needs ahead of time, if she has any special requests, I'll follow up with that though.
We have everybody all set then, Dave?
Sorry, what?
Do we have everybody all set for the ceremony? Is that what
yes. So we have our we have speaker, we have speaker locked in, we have the
we have our Grand Marshal.
We have our Grand Marshal.
Somebody do an invocation?
Yes, we have the invocation. I got to pull up my list from before, but I did get verification on that. And Steve said that the police were down for flag folding as well, for the honor guard. As far as I remember, Willie, did you say that the Legion's still doing our 21 gun salute? And apart from that,
Roger Coddington's going to sing this year.
Yep, Coddington's going to sing.
Love that.
Yep, and
What's he going to sing?
He's going to sing Arlington. Is that okay?
Pardon me?
He's going to.
That's what that's his song he likes to sing.
Oh yeah, I just want to throw out that the 338th Military Band usually does the national anthem with no accompanying singers.
Okay.
And they should be doing they should be doing taps, perform taps at the end, which should be the final part of the ceremony.
If they're going to stick, if they're in the parade and they're going to stick around for that, then that solves a couple of our problems, because obviously because the Royal Oak High School band can't be there because of COVID and whatnot. If the 338th is going to be there, we would be happy to have them actually perform live. And if they're there, I'd like them to do taps as well.
Are they doing all three anthems though?
Then we still have the Canadian and the British to worry about. So.
Yeah, so that's the case. So if we can get a hold of them to see if they can perform American, British, and Canadian, that would pretty much handle everything. And the one thing I do want to ask is, do they perform taps, or is it like an actual bugler? So long as we don't end up with the recorder and the bugle again.
No, you have an actually Army bugler who performs taps. We don't play it. He performs taps.
Yeah. So if that's the
how
case,
many in that band? How many people?
I'm not sure right now. I'm waiting for I just found out from Judy that they need to fill out a parade application. I sent the parade application to a Sergeant Wiseman, and I'm kind of waiting to see that come back. And once I do that, I can toss out that if they're going to be in the parade, as well as do possibly the 3 national anthems.
So Willie, you're gonna follow up on the 3 for us and see if to see if they can perform that, and if not, let us know so we can get something, maybe Jensen for the other 2 if they can't perform the other ones.
Yes, I will follow up on that.
Excellent, I appreciate that.
If we know, we'll also have to make room for them. We'll have to have chairs for them separately. So maybe up front we have room. I don't know.
Yeah, like normally we'd have them off to the side and whatnot. It's I think before next time, I kind of want to go march off the the area and measure what space we're talking about and where we can kind of put stuff. We don't have to make final decisions right now, but you're absolutely right that we have to accommodate them. If they're we should find out how big that band is, how much space they need, and whether or not they need to be undercover.
Yeah, because we'll also have to plan the replaying too. So I looked at that. There's plenty of room there, but we just need to be prepared for it. Got
it. So Judy, I will reach out to the commissioners in terms of their wreath laying and whether or not they're going to march, or whether or not they're just going to kind of meander before the thing starts and then end up at their station like last time.
Yeah, they told me they just want to watch the parade. They don't want to be in the parade.
That's fine by me too. But I owe the mayor a call on that one. And it's at least for the wreath laying. So the 338th, that's great to hear, because otherwise, I felt bad for Jensen having to pull off all those things all at once. That's Canadian one's hard for some reason, but he nails the other ones. So was that it for unfinished business? Did anybody else have anything else?
Do you have something? John does.
Okay, wait. I do have to go back. One thing. You made a motion and we didn't do anything else. We got a motion and I didn't get a second, which I don't ever, I think Cynthia might have seconded it, but we actually didn't vote. The motion to have Willie and Judy meet to go over the parade via protocol. So you did make a motion. I don't know if you need a motion, but we do have to vote on it if you want to make a motion.
I don't mind voting on it. I mean, it's at least we get it down on paper.
Okay.
Did
Cynthia second? Wait a minute.
No, I seconded the budget.
Okay, I will second the motion from Judy.
Okay, so let's go around the room for the motion to have Judy and Willie nail down the parade protocol and order. All right, all in favor, Eileen.
Approve.
All right, Cynthia.
Approve.
Jack.
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
Willie.
Approve.
Mike.
Approve.
Okay.
Great, thank
There we
you.
go, and that is approved. And good luck. Feel free to reach out if you want to bring anybody else into your group.
John has something. John would like to speak.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
For the service that we're going to have after the parade, have we got anybody to say a prayer, like a minister?
Yes. Yep, we have
Yes.
invocation handled, we've got speaker handled. And now if we get the 338th, we'll have the band handled there. So I don't think that there was anything left.
Doing the
Up to, sorry, what?
Who's doing the invocation this year?
Let me pull it up.
Program, that's what it's called, the program.
Yep. Oh, that's the other thing too, is I'll put together the 2021 program here. So
That's
I
I'm
will,
looking at-
I'll have to dig it up through my notes. My note thing is crashing right here, but
I
Okay.
know we asked somebody though, that somebody suggested, and we asked that person and they said yes.
yes.
So I know, it went very,
But I'm gapping on it. The I do have to apologize when they talk about the post-COVID brain fog.
yeah.
That is a real thing. My memory was not great to begin with after years and years of being around U.S. military grade solvents, and but yeah, post-COVID, it's recall is very difficult. So if I'm a little stuttery tonight, that's the problem. So I will find out the name
no worries,
of the
no worries.
invitation. So
Yeah, we'll get that.
yeah, I'll send it around. So then if that's the case,
Jack has one more thing to say.
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
finished.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the Santa Fe or the service.
Mhm.
I have a pastor that is willing to say a prayer for the Memorial Day service, but also the Veterans Day service. And that's,
Well, we might use it. We asked somebody already, but we might use them for Veterans Day.
yeah. So if Judy, if you can get that person's information, that
Yeah.
I'm all ears for for future invocations. Yes, Cynthia.
well, anyway,
Oh,
Yep.
wait, hold on. Jack's still talking. Go
Yep.
ahead.
Okay.
Come on, Jack.
not only a pastor, but like for at least for the Veterans Day service, I can get a children's choir or adult choir to sing in the Veterans Day service.
Oh, that's nice. You can
And,
get a children's or
They have,
adult choir.
This is a safe
Yeah.
Lutheran church and the school, and they have done that in the past.
St. Paul's
so-
Lutheran Church.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also talked to the pastor personally about it. We just got a new pastor this past last summer, and I asked him about it, if he would be willing to participate. He said yes.
Oh, that's great.
So
Yeah.
you just give him a call and tell me, and I can get some communication between us and my pastor. That's
Very
it.
good. Awesome.
Excellent.
Cynthia.
So Cynthia.
Okay, so I just want to say, Jack, that fits in perfectly. We've been really trying to use pastors and clergy from the Royal Oak and surrounding areas, so that fits in perfect.
Mhm.
So maybe we'll get a hold of him for Veterans Day. I mean, that seems like it's right in our wheelhouse. We've been trying really to keep it in the community, so that fits out good, Jack. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I've been wondering all night long who Jack was. I guess it's John Wendland, right?
So,
we don't
yeah,
have
so
to-
John
We were
Wendland is
calling
Jack now.
tonight.
John
John
Wendland's
better known
Willie.
as Jack.
We're just gonna start calling Cynthia John.
The cowboy
Let's
hat.
call Cynthia Willie.
The cowboy.
No, we were really told to call him Jack, right? Judy,
Yes.
didn't you say?
Yeah, he said, he told me, I had Judy and John, and he said, no, it's Judy and Jack, so.
Oh, you can call me this.
We got red buttons too, don't we?
Or he's the geranium cowboy.
That's what I was called. That's what I was called at university.
That's funny. All right, then if that's the case, then does anybody else have anything left for unfinished business before we move into new business?
No.
Nope. Okay. All right, then let's open up the floor for new business. And anybody have anything to jump in?
Or new business.
No. I mean, anything for either the ceremony, for the we even talked about like how we're going to get out of the area, with the parade float. If there's anything else that we haven't talked about in terms of I think last time we even talked about like, the band used to stand up in the back. So if we have the 338, where they're gonna, where they're actually gonna go. Judy and I talked about, where we drop off our Rosies in the morning. So, it's wide open. But in terms of new business, that's one of the things that I do want to do is do a drive-by of the area. I want to make as little movement for the Rosies as possible.
Yeah.
So maybe what we do is we do a drive-by of that area to see if there's a way that the Rosies can park down by Lincoln, like by the front, finish up the parade, and then just have them driven back on the floats down there so that they don't have to get up and off and into different vehicles more than twice on and off. But that was Judy and I's take on minimizing the problems with the Rosies. Yes, Eileen?
Yeah, do you think they're going to be coming to the ceremony, or they're just going to do the parade and then they're going to go? Because if you get them off the float for the ceremony, then you get them back on the float. That's adding.
Yeah, I would, it'd be great if they, I don't want to turn them away, but I also don't want to make it hard on them. And I think getting to third, and if they get on third and kind of pull past Troy, and I don't think everybody's going to hop off and wander over to the city hall and sit there and then go back and whatnot. That seems like a lot of movement for a 94-year-old woman,
Right.
much less a dozen of them. So as much as I don't want to turn them away, I also don't want to make it hard on them. So is there a nice way to say, hey, you're invited, but don't feel the need to get up?
Right. Are we going to take the float straight ahead and not turn on Troy? I thought that was the idea, was that we were going to go straight with the float.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to turn the float and the float takes them back to Lincoln, which is fine, as you're saying that.
If they're not staying for the ceremony, which minimizes the amount of times that they have to get on and off and everything like that. Because we had talked about, either just staying on third and kind of nosing into that like half residential-y area over there, or turning onto Troy and then just sort of stacking up on Troy. But if they're going to stay on the float and drive them back to the beginning, then part of this is going to depend on the guy driving the float too. It is not small. So if we don't have, so long as we don't have people, parked on the sides of the street and he can make that turn, if he takes third to Troy and hangs a right onto Troy and kind of goes back, if he can make those turns with a float and not knock anybody over, great. But maybe it's going to require actually showing him the map so he can kind of Google map it to see if that's going to work. I just want to minimize the amount of time they have to get on and get off the float. To the last thing I want is for one of these Rosies to get hurt.
Sure. I'm putting under new business though, the parade float route, because I think if we need to have parking spots blocked off, which I think roads are going to be blocked off anyways, but I just want to make sure we have those so that he can make that turn, right? Nobody can park on Main to third to, right?
Yeah. So ideally, we have the police bagging the
Meters.
parallel parking meters. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a really good point. I'll talk to Steve Tycho, because if the float is if they're going to park by the float and the float is going to take them down the parade route and then circle back and take them back to their cars, we looked at them possibly going down Main to Third and then turning up Williams and then getting back over to Main. But you're right, they'll probably have to bag all the meters on, on Williams, because I don't think you can have any cars parked in those floats, make those turns. It's gonna have to be no cars on the street at all. So I'll talk to Steve Tycho about that.
Okay.
That's pretty long too. It seems like you need all the room you can get.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that you, Cynthia? You're saying?
Yeah, am I on mute?
Go ahead and talk.
No, we can hear you.
Okay. How many participants do we have currently?
So we currently, we typically have about 50 units, and we have about 30 units signed up right now. I can tell you that the vast majority of units that aren't signed up are scouting groups. We only have two scouting groups, and we normally have like 10 or 15. And then we haven't heard back from some of the politicians that normally are always in it. We've heard back from the sheriff, Bouchard, and that's it. We haven't heard. So it's mostly just politicians and scouting groups that aren't in. Everybody else is back on board. I'm really
Okay,
The politicians are notorious for being late. They let you know.
Yeah, they let you know last minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Like the
yeah.
day before the parade.
And then some of the kind of like offbeat groups that are in it, like the lawn doctor and the plasma person, and
Yeah, right.
none of those people are back, and the Harmony Acres isn't back. But I would say like the meat and bones of our parade is like 100% all back.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So, does anybody else have any new business, or are we wrapping it up by 8:30? I want to. I do want to thank everybody, for being very patient with me through this. I was, me and my family were very safe for a whole year, and I know I kind of got knocked out of the loop for the better part of a whole month. But I hopefully didn't delay anything that we would have otherwise done. But so I do want to thank everybody for kind of sticking with me while I was recovering. And I feel bad for everybody that's gotten this. And I mean, for as bad as it was, I'm lucky. I've known people like my producer alone, her and her wife were put in the hospital with pneumonia with it. And so I hope everybody is safe, getting as vaccinated when they can. And hopefully this is we're all to the point where we can actually after this is all said and done and we're all vaccinated, we can actually have a live meeting again, like in the city hall with that's I'm looking forward to that a lot. It's there's something that, I mean, these are great, but it lacks the the feel of an actual meeting. So I do want to thank everybody for sort of hanging in there.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Can we get a motion to adjourn at 8:29 p.m.?
I will make a motion.
All
I will
right.
second. Whoops.
That's Cynthia with the second. All right, let's go around the room. Willie, let me hear you.
Approve.
Jack,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
All right, and we've got Eileen and Cynthia there already. Okay, well, if that's the case, then we are approved at getting out of here at a decent hour. So
All right, yes.
tight 90 minutes and we're out.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
everybody, thank you. I
Thanks.
appreciate everybody, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Good night,
Stay
everyone.
safe.
Bye.
Bye.